I love most about talking to clients and colleagues about optimizing the video experience for consumers is that we can actually look within. We can look at ourselves, we can look at our family, our kids, our friends. It's a lot what we talk about at the water cooler, right? If you watch a big tentpole event, I mean, the Super Bowl being the largest one, but even everything down to just an episode of your favorite show, the next morning you're going to talk about it, and you're going to talk about the experience that you had with it, where you watched it, how you watched it, the ads that you saw. It's just inevitable, and that's great feedback to incorporate into how to further, always push your advertising message to be the most engaging. When I think about ways to optimize video content, I think about customization at scale. I think about what should be your first message to a consumer about your brand, and then how to further draw people into that funnel as they see more and more exposure to your ad. Personally, when I see an ad on my big flat screen TV, I assume that that's going to be the most broad reach, the most broad awareness of that message. But then if it speaks to me again on a more personalized device, like through Instagram or any type of social media on my phone, I applaud an advertiser who further digs deeper into the funnel and makes their message a little bit more customized based on possibly some data that they have drawn for me. So those are some of the tidbits that I encourage my clients to utilize when we're talking about advertising messages across different platforms and how they work together. Frequency doesn't always have to be a bad thing, as long as it's not just hitting you over the head with the same message over and over again.
So let me ask you about the future of ad-supported video. There's a lot that's happening. There's a big move to streaming, and of course, the non-commercial SVOD platforms are huge and growing. What are the opportunities in the future of video, of streaming video, of brand-supported, ad-supported video services?
So I think that ad-supported premium video started this whole thing, and it is also the future of it. I mean, Netflix has been around for 10 years or so, and they're definitely extremely successful. I was one of the first people to have a Netflix subscription. Actually, I gifted it to my father, and he didn't quite know what to do with it. This was back in the days of DVDs, and he gave it back to me, and it still lives with me to this day. But I think the reason that Netflix has kind of been so successful is because they have put content on their platforms that originated on good old-fashioned TV. And it was because people didn't have the time or the scheduling to watch it on its first run, and they wanted to go back and binge watch so that they could catch up for season 2 of that very successful program. So I think that there's always going to be a place for Netflix and other non-ad supported platforms, but we have seen the expansion of so many ad supported streaming platforms. I know that HBO Max is adding commercials to their platform. There's Paramount Plus, there's Discovery Plus. And I do believe that content is so expensive that the burden of that, creating that content cannot reside solely with the consumer in the future. And I do believe that brand messaging and advertising is a necessary way to continue to bring premium video to consumers.
Great. And speaking of consumers, there's a lot of issues around privacy. There's opportunities around targeting, but there are both consumer preference, government preferences, and regulations. How do we balance sort of effectively delivering video cross screen in this sort of new privacy focused world?
Yeah, so it definitely is a struggle, and there's lots of changing. We do see this trend towards user data being moved into these walled gardens or buying silos, if you will. And I do believe that the role of a modern agency, has evolved to kind of, if you'll go with me with this garden analogy, to be sort of the tunnels that are connecting those gardens. And I think that what we strive to do is give our clients access to the premium supply and data, and still provide that connectivity and that consistency and that scale across this fragmented landscape. So that is the role that we strive at the agency to deliver for our clients. We obviously want to be very respectful of, as you say, any legislation or privacy silos that are being built up, but also utilize that information in a stripped or blinded way to still connect our clients' brand messaging with consumers.
And finally, as a media investment executive, what would you like to see from the programmers, the broadcasters? If you had a wish list, what would be at the top of your wish list?
The shows that I applaud the most are the ones that bring in cultural relevance of what's happening today. I think they have a very broad reach to bear a responsible message. And I think that some of the programming that has started to go back into production and be broadcast this year that bring into their messaging some of the very unfortunate events that have happened over the past 15 months, the awareness that has been elevated across some of the social issues. I think that is very important, and that if handled responsibly and correctly, which the majority of them I have seen, it is just another way to sort of increase that awareness and conversation around all of the cultural events that are happening today.